All right, here we go. We're gonna have the conversation. It's been, so a lot of these times I come and I'm really curious. I ask you, Steven, the smart guy, all these questions about the latest and greatest, and whatever. But this one's kind of we're gonna file this one on the what grinds my gears category. And so I want to start by talking about attack and one of the ways that we look at every client. We look at every client like they're unique. We think their problems are unique. We think their solutions are unique. So when we're working with a client to get them on HubSpot, a product we really believe in, we want to create the most optimal experience from day one. We want to create the instance. We don't even call it like the perfect, we call it the promised land. We ask them what their promised land is, right? And from there, we work backwards to make sure that we build it specifically for this company in a way that they're going to get the most optimal use out of it, right? So that's the background of attack and our beliefs and our philosophies. Now, we're going to talk about a tool that agencies are using to essentially become the antithesis of the attack way. And we don't want to crap on the tool. The tool is called Super, and the tool is cool. All right. Why don't we start here, Stephen? Tell everybody what Super is and why it is a cool tool.
Yeah, I mean, Super is so essentially what Super does, it just really makes it easy for doesn't matter if you're a business or you're a HubSpot partner, consultant, freelancer, you can go in and build out a bunch of, say processes, reporting, things that you would typically do in a HubSpot instance when you're going through an onboarding or an implementation. And it's a great tool, works really well, makes it really easy to take repeatable processes and deploy them to a HubSpot instance with a click of a button, essentially. So great tool has its place and it does have value. But on the flip side, when we're using that tool to repeatedly onboard customers without any customization, that's when we start getting into some of that murkiness that is very the anti-attack way.
So we can stop beating around the bush. What's happening is a lot of HubSpot solutions partners like us believe in the product of HubSpot. They want to help customers get onboarded and they want to do really well, right? They want to do but well by their customer. Well, there's also this thing that HubSpot's floated over HubSpot solutions partners forever, where they'll waive an onboarding fee that essentially then gets passed on to the agency or the solutions partner. And historically, that's just been great. But now with Supered, onboarding has become a race to the bottom. For a lot of onboarding, a lot of companies have now just said, this is how we onboard. And there's this belief that they have a magic button. Well, let me tell you, if anybody in marketing from now until the end of time tells you they have a magic button, please run for the hills. I caught myself there. This is going on LinkedIn, family place LinkedIn. Please run for the hills, right? And so when companies, you know, lower their onboarding fees just to get another company in the door, and then the company goes, okay, we need to be onboarded to HubSpot. How are some of the people who are doing, let's say, the non-attack way, how are they currently using Supered to get somebody from going from not being on HubSpot to having some things in HubSpot, but and what are kind of the problems we've been seeing with?
Yeah, I mean, nothing is customized. So they might have some general flows built out with Supered. They might have even done some industry specific ones, legal, real estate, manufacturing, stuff that they might see, time and time again. But we work with a lot of manufacturing companies. We work with a lot of real estate companies, and they're all different. One manufacturing company is completely different from another. How they want to use HubSpot is completely different. Their marketing to sales process is different. Everything is different for each business, and when we turn HubSpot into a tool where we're not utilizing the most important functionality, which is how awesome and how easy it is to actually customize HubSpot to work for your business instead of just implementing it at kind of face value in a more generic fashion. You're kind of setting yourself up for failure from the beginning. And we're probably gonna, we run into situations where when we see that, companies don't necessarily, they might know how to use the tool, but the tool, it just becomes, kind of lost in their tech stack because the user adoption is never going to be there when you aren't customizing the tool for the business in a manner that makes sense to them and implements their internal processes with like what we know is best practice, with using a CRM. And then we end up with, then you end up with a lot of churn and the companies get frustrated with HubSpot. But the frustration really isn't with HubSpot; it's with how that onboarding, how the implementation was done.
Yeah, and I think I feel like I've spent my whole career railing about this because I believe in the customer experience. I want to provide the most ultimate customer experience. I argue with people at HubSpot a lot because of this, because sometimes the ultimate customer experience isn't the enterprise level, it's maybe a professional level of HubSpot. And I'm always going to do what's right by the customer. And I think when I see cookie cutter solutions, it drives me insane. It drives me insane to think that somebody is like, "Oh, okay, great. I'll pay these guys as low as $1." There's literally ads around for $1 onboarding. Great. So I'm going to take all of your data. I'm not going to spend any attention to it. I'm going to hit the magic button and it's going to do the exact same thing that I did for my other customers. And everything's going to be cookie cutter. And you know who's not going to love it? The customer, because it's not going to be the most ideal way to get them on HubSpot. So if we all believe and love in HubSpot and want our customers utilizing this tool long term, we want people to become as big of evangelists as us. Don't we want to get them onboarded in a way that's going to make them love the tool from day one? That's going to solve problems from day one instead of just getting them in the damn door? Like, come on. So I sorry, this is just a rant. I don't even have questions anymore, Steven. I'm like, what are we doing at this one? So let's stop with the rant. We'll stop. Okay. Stop ranting for a minute. We're ranting on behalf of the customer, just saying that. If I'm somebody, I want to go on HubSpot, I'm shopping partners. What should I look for in the onboarding? And especially if one of them is more expensive than the other, why do you think that is? And what options should I consider? And do that as fair as you can after I just screamed about the way we do things versus the way other people do things.
Yeah, I would really start, dive in with these partners and ask them, okay, what's your approach to onboarding? What's your strategy for it? What's included? Are we gonna go through a full data migration? Are you gonna help me clean up my data? Have data hygiene as part of your onboarding? Have them kind of walk you through, okay, like say we're buying, whether we're buying marketing hub, sales hub, service hub, doesn't really matter. Just have them walk you through their process and outline everything that they're going to do for you. And at the same time, like make sure we have, you want case studies from other onboardings and implementations that they've done. Um, Sample project plans. That's something that we provide a lot of time during the sales process. Like, hey, this is the full like strategy deck we put together. This is how you get. This is your documentation that you're getting. So it's like, when we're turning over a HubSpot instance that we've built for a new client, everything. We've got process flows that are built out, so they get nice, cool, lucid charts of how their HubSpot instance is set up, so that as they onboard new employees, new team members in the future, they're not reliant on us to train them. They have that documentation. They know from a core how their HubSpot instance is built and how it's been customized for their very specific use case. And yeah, have them like build it, show you a sample project plan, sample strategy, so that you're not getting a cookie cutter solution, and that that this partner that you choose is going to dedicate the initial time in discovery and strategy, and not just go straight from, hey, you bought HubSpot, cool. Next day we're going to get you on board and you're going to be using it. If that's happening, chances are they're using a tool like Super to speed up that process.
Okay. And listen, like we like Super. All right. So like I don't want I also want to say like let's talk about where Super's role to having a better onboarding process while also being able to provide, the bespoke solution that actually is going to work for the customer. Where can Super come in and be that great tool to speed things up without, just setting everybody up the way that you've set, looking at everybody like they're the same type of company.
Yeah, for sure. No, Super definitely has its place. It's a great tool. It comes in handy more so, say, regardless when you're doing a HubSpot setup, there are always going to be these repeatable processes that typically may not change from one onboarding and one implementation to another. Like the things you always have to do. And if you build those out in Super, that does make it a little easier to deploy it quicker. It saves, and it'll save some money long term when for clients who are customers who are signing up for HubSpot. The issue then the issue comes when we're using Supered for the full like onboarding, but when we're using it for bits and pieces of repeatable processes and like more mundane tasks that just have to get done to get a HubSpot instance set up, and coupling that with a custom strategy, project plan, implementation, that's when you get a good mix of both worlds. Then
I love it. I love it. So if you're a company and you want to go on HubSpot and you're agency shopping, your solutions partner shopping, whatever you want to call it, here's some things I would ask. One, what is the role of Supered in your onboarding? How does it save time? How do you look at me like I'm different from your other customers when onboarding? We all want to be on HubSpot as fast as possible, as ideal as possible. But what questions are you not asking me about what I want out of my HubSpot experience that is going to be different from your other customers? These type of questions, like look at yourself as unique as you are. Don't let anybody tell you you're just like everybody else. Don't let anybody tell you that you should be using the platform the way anybody else does. We're all in business. We all onboard new software all the time. If we did it the exact same way as all the other companies, it would never ever be at an optimal level, because that's not how life works. That's not how business works, right? You are going to be unique. So always lean into being unique. Ask people what it is about me and my onboarding that's going to be different from other companies, and then let that agency tell you exactly how they're going to solve your problem and deliver you the most ideal instance, because that's what you deserve, and that's how you're going to love HubSpot as much as we do. Anything else we need to add?
no, I think you covered it.
All right, mic drop. There we go. All right. Thanks for sticking around, and use Supered responsibly. All right. Thanks, dude. That's it for today. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up and make sure you hit subscribe so you can see our latest videos as soon as they drop. We really appreciate you watching. See you next time.